Welcome to Popternative, where we dive into topical discussions from the worlds of pop culture, social media, and sports. Here is your host, Peter Remoliotis, aka PD Beats.
Hello, welcome to the Popternative podcast. This is the podcast and talk show where we have digital discussions from the worlds of TV, film, social media, pop culture, everything really depending on the guest. We talk about it all. As always, I'm your host, Peter Remoliotis, and on Twitter, you know me as PD Beats. You'll recognize my guest from Kim's Convenience, which is a Canadian show that is available worldwide on Netflix. She plays Chelsea. We are with Gabriella Sundar Singh. Gabby, welcome to Popternative.
Thank you so much for having me. It's nice to finally properly meet you, Peter, this virtual meeting. This is great.
Absolutely. How's the quarantine been for you so far?
Okay. It's been okay. I'm currently in self-isolation in Niagara-on-the-Lake.
Mm-hmm.
I work at the Shaw Festival as an actor in the company, and we've continued doing rehearsals online. So I'm here rehearsing from my living room, cooking, trying to take walks, trying to stay sane. It's okay, yeah.
No, for sure. It's one of those things where I've been kind of using it to do a lot of projects that I haven't had the time to do, like in the last couple of months. So it is. I feel like it's becoming a little bit more productive for people than they thought it was going to be honest with you.
I think so too. I think once I got over the panic, which was like week 1 and 2, like total chicken with its head cut off, not knowing up from down. Once I settled down, I was like, oh no, this is a nice period of quiet and maybe some potential like extra rest or trying to check in with yourself. And yeah.
No, absolutely.
I have a handle on it.
For sure. So Kim's Convenience.
Yeah.
4 seasons already.
Who would have thought?
Which is crazy. And Chelsea's kind of a character I kind of like. It's like this. Like we see Chelsea, right? And then it just kind of goes up, basically. You know what I mean? Like your role gets kind of bigger and more predominant every season, which I think is awesome.
I'm so curious because I haven't asked you this. Do you have an opinion on Chelsea?
Okay. You're turning the tables on me. Okay. Chelsea, she is. I don't think she doesn't have a filter, but she means well. She's very sweet.
Oh, she means well. She's very sweet. I'll take it.
Do you like it? No, I don't think she's a bad person. I mean, to be honest with you, we're getting into this. I'm sorry.
No, this is great.
We're getting into this. I think Janet comes off really rough around the edges and it irritates me sometimes.
You know what it is? I think it's in comparison to Chelsea, who is, like you said, she means well, but she's very bubbly. She can be extremely positive, especially when everybody else is not on her wavelength.
Yeah.
And I got to tell you, it's been really fun developing the character along with the team. I was introduced at the end of season 2, and she's the girlfriend, right? She's Gerald's girlfriend. She shows up. I shot for 2 days, and it was one of the first things on TV I'd ever done. So I didn't know what to expect. I thought it was a one-off, and I left that day on set thanking everybody and going wow, this was a great experience, and kind of left it.
Yep.
Absolutely not knowing that it was going to turn into, well, what it is now. And the more we get to know her, we get really weird glimpses into into her personality and into her life. It's been interesting.
Well, I find her and Gerald, played by the great Ben Beauchemin, I mean, I find they complement each other a little bit, but you both drive me nuts in different ways. And it's very...
Absolutely. It's like we're each other's foil. You don't want it to work, but at the same time, I wonder who someone said this to me. It was someone who loves the show. This could have been my sister. She's like, you guys deserve each other because you're both so much. We have extreme personalities. So who else would you kind of pit them against?
I think the best things too is when she's always flirting with good-looking guys when Gerald's around. Just are those scenes kind of fun to do sometimes? What about those scenes? Because I find we mentioned, Ben is very funny, he does stand-up as well.
Yes.
He's awkward, his character, but does it sometimes have a hard time? Do you have to do a couple of takes with him? How's that like?
I think one of the best things that like ever happened to me was uh, meeting Ben and getting to work alongside him on Kim's. Because when we met, we didn't know each other, but as it works with TV, you meet someone and it could be like the very first scene you're shooting. Like you have to kiss or hug or like be intimate or pretend that you have this long history. By now, we do have a longer history and we have this great friendship where we just play. We just play, especially this past season. Like, I shouldn't like say anything or give anything away to people who haven't seen the episodes, but if there's an intense moment, like Ben would be off camera yelling things at me and trying to get me in the mood. Or if we know that we're about to go into a goofy scene or a funny moment, we'll be like right off camera trying to make each other laugh and like egg each other on. And it's the best kind of on-screen relationship I've ever developed. Yeah.
No, for sure. You know what I think is really cool, Gabby, about the show is I'm like, when I interview other people from Kim's, I talked to Moosey about this. I talked to Ben about this. If you think about it, Kim's Convenience is like two shows in one, if you think about it, like two different worlds. There's the world that you and Gerald live in, which is the convenience store world with Andrea and everything. But there's also the handy car rental world with Simu and Andrew and Nicole. And sometimes there's overlap, but not that much.
No, and I haven't been able to overlap into the handy world yet. But anytime I'd been on set and get to like walk through the handy offices, it's the coolest thing because it is, it looks so real and it's totally this other world that I'm not a part of. The first time I ever got to go to the convenience store, like, and do a scene in the convenience store and step into that world. Oh my gosh, it like I was starstruck. I'm like, oh my god, all the food is real, and it feels real. I love those moments. But you know me, I spend most of my time in the apartment sitting on that couch.
Absolutely. Yeah, that's like most of your scenes are on that couch.
Yeah. Or at that table, causing trouble, poking people.
But I don't think you do it on purpose. But I just find sometimes, like, and Andrea Bang does an amazing job playing Janet, but I feel like there's moments where Janet's very focused in her career, and I feel like she has something to prove all the time with her photography and her art, that she kind of comes off a little bit misunderstood, you know what I mean? And kind of like not negative, but there's a little bit of like she just seems, I think she's misunderstood and she gets rattled easily,
Totally.
You know what I mean?
Totally misunderstood. Very much gets rattled easily because she is like she's so focused, which is so brilliant.
So you understand where I'm coming from.
Yes, and then like I guess the fun part is you throw someone like Chelsea in the mix who is not very focused. If you're talking about direct and indirect, Janet is very direct with what she wants and what she says and does. Chelsea's rather indirect because you never quite know what she wants or what her end goal is.
Exactly.
And she can be a little bit like a goldfish. She can be a little all over the place, which is, I think, fun to watch in contrast.
Absolutely. So I went on Instagram Live with Paul, who plays Appa, a couple weeks ago. And Gabby, it was the coolest thing. We had, first of all, we had over like 4,000 people live tuning in.
That's so cool.
But we had people from all around the world who love the show. Like, it's insane to see the global reach of this Canadian show. I love it.
I know it blows my mind. I think one of the cool things that's happened while we've been self-isolating is like, I think like for us, work stopped on like March 13th and we started doing our rehearsals here from home. And those were like the final 2 or 3 weeks of this latest season of Kim's. So while that's happening, I had people start to like follow me online and on Instagram and start messaging me. And when the show got released like globally on Netflix, It's been the coolest thing to have people literally all over the world message and go, thank you. Thanks for like, making us laugh, or like, it's nice to watch something that feels like real.
There's such an innocence to the show. Do you know what I mean by that? There's like an innocence. It's so pure.
And you know what it is? I think because they're like, it's real. We try to develop real relationships. So I don't find this show like contrived at all, or trying to push a message, and we're also not like caricatures of people. We're just people. And
100%.
And
Now
I think it's a good viewing experience.
you're from Canada, right? You're from Toronto?
Yeah, born and raised in Toronto.
So I'm from Montreal, but now I live in Ottawa.
Cool.
So you can relate then growing up as a youngster watching a lot of like our Canadian shows on PBS, CBC were great for kids, but there was a stigma attached to anything kind of made in Canada that was a movie or TV wasn't gonna kind of get traction outside of Canada. You know what I mean? Is it safe to say that there's like a stigma? That stigma's gone a little bit now with shows like Letterkenny and Kim's Convenience?
Yeah, I hope so. Yes. And I think we've dispelled, I think with the power of Canadian.
Do you know what I mean though? Like when you thought
like
about shows like back in the day, there's some great shows from back in the day, like Little Mouse on a Prairie, Murdoch's Mystery, but like you wouldn't know those shows if you weren't from Canada, like at all.
And if something did make it, you talk about it like it's the little Canadian show that could, right?
Exactly.
But now you have like another great CBC show, Schitt's Creek.
Schitt's Creek. Working moms.
Yes, you have people like I mean, I'm talking like celebrities globally who will like write about their favorite show, and it'll be something like Kim's or Schitt's Creek, and it's incredible to see the global reach that it has. And I'm glad people are giving Canadian TV a chance.
Was it Stephen Colbert that posted about Kim's recently?
Yes.
That's awesome.
I think he had like tweeted or Instagram kind of posted, you know, guys, during the quarantine, send me your your top TV picks or something. And they picked a bunch and like reposted them. And the one on the cover, the top, was Kim's, which is like, I mean, this is Colbert we're talking about. So if he knows who we are.
That's awesome. But like, and here's the thing. I do want to talk about, you know, Appa, because Paul does such an amazing job. But here's the thing. You see it in his handles too, like on Twitter and Instagram, it's Bitter Asian Dude, Angry Appa. Listen, I'm going to be the first one to say this. Appa is a nice guy. He's not like, he means well the whole time. You know what I mean? And like people are saying, oh, he's mean and like to his kids and stuff. No way. Like I don't see that. You know what I mean? Like he's a bit grumpy, but there's like a charm. I love Appa. Like he's the best.
No, he is like the beating heart of the show. You know, like the show really does revolve around him and his relationships with his family and the kind of world that he tries to create and cultivate because he loves his family. I personally, the way I watch it, is that I think it all comes from love. And maybe it's like part of me having immigrant parents, like you get it. They may be tisking you and they may be telling you to, you know, go clean up your bloody room, but it's coming from love.
But I don't even think it's that bad with them though. You know what I mean? Like it's not, do you know what I mean a little bit? Cause like people were like, when he was talking about his character, he's like, he's misunderstood. He's very strict, but he doesn't want to be. And I'm in my head, I'm like thinking about it, and I'm like, it's not that bad. You know what I mean?
I do, and I think that may come down to like what our own experiences are. You know, like the way we were raised. You and I can watch a show like that and go, yeah, like I see myself, or I see my parents, or I understand those interactions. And then maybe for another viewer, it's like something totally new. Which is cool.
What shows did you remember watching that were like Canadian growing up? Like I was always into like Arthur.
Oh my God, don't start.
I love Arthur's one of my favorite. I went as Arthur at Halloween one year.
Okay, I feel like, and we're going to go on.
Are we going to talk about Arthur now? Is this happening? I've watched every episode like 30 times. So.
Oh, Peter, I'm with you. I feel like Arthur recently, I can't believe we're doing this, has like recently made a bit of like a resurgence online. Like, cause you can like, there are like YouTube or like streams of like Arthur episodes, like 24 hours a day. And I don't know what this was. This was like 2 years ago. I must have been watching TBO or just, you know, flipping to the channels at home. And I grew up with Arthur. That show was like so important to you.
Me too. I love that show.
Storytelling and like, you know, and
it's so good.
And good comedy.
Yeah.
And not kids comedy. Sorry. Good comedy. And
it's witty.
It's extremely witty. And I love like watching new episodes and going, whoa, like this is how far they've come. And I'm sorry, like it's a really relevant show. Like the show writes about things that are very topical and would concern young people. and tries to explain them and help us get a handle on it. It's
No,
so
I
I'm with
love
you on
Arthur. Trust me, anyone who watches this show, like I still watch Arthur now. I'll watch Arthur like I just watched
no.
Arthur 2 days ago. Like I always
I know.
watch Arthur.
Oh yeah, no, because I grew up with all the like the TVO kids, the CBC kids, the
Yeah.
YTV, any of that great Canadian
Cyber Chase, remember Cyber Chase?
Oh, don't. Listen, I'm a total TV kid. I grew up watching like probably like too much, but like too much TV. And I guess the dream that I always had was to be a kids TV host. I'd watch like TVO Kids, CBC Kids, YTV.
Yep.
I'd go, like, it wasn't just the content, it was the personalities that you get to meet between the episodes. I'd go, wow, like, I don't know, like, I can't wait to come home from school and like have them talk to me about my day and like do a goofy skit and sing a song. Like, I'm like, that's what I want to do. I want to be a part of people's
You would
day.
be great on TVO Kids or CBC Kids. We thought about that?
Peter, you tell them. You tell them.
You would be great. Oh man, I'm just gonna name out names like Big Comfy Couch. Do you remember that?
Like the clock stretch. My sister and I
Yes.
would lay on the floor and try and do like the big leg clock stretch. Brilliant show.
Sticking Around. Do you remember that one?
Oh my gosh! Like
I'm kind of loud, so a lot of people think I'm Dill. Like, hey, you guys.
that's good. Like the amazing storytelling that they did with very simple animation, like really, really simple animation, but it felt really relatable
100%.
because they were just two kids.
Remember Reboot? So many good shows. I used to watch a lot of shows too, but Arthur is like, I love that show. Like I want to make a podcast where like because I have friends like my friend Jesse Camacho, who's on Less Than Kind and he's in Lock and Key right now. His dad does the voice of Oliver Frensky, like Francine's dad.
No.
Yeah.
See, that's celebrity status in my eyes. I'm like,
And he did the voice of James, like DW's little bunny friend. Like when he was younger, he did the voice of James.
that
James
is
split his
incredible.
pants like that, James.
Oh my god, that is so funny. You know, I love this is like I love that you brought this up. It's so nice actually to sit down and reflect on the things or like the content that really influenced us, and go, oh yeah, it's Canadian. Like to remember that.
Oh no, it is.
Like,
Remember Richard Scarry? Remember that?
yes.
The Busy
yes.
World of Richard Scarry.
Yes.
Remember Franklin,
Oh my god.
the turtle? I mean,
Yeah.
so good. There's so many good things. We could talk for hours about this, but season 4 of Kim's Convenience, for people that don't realize though, is you could watch it globally on Netflix right now, but not in Canada. I think in Canada right now you still have to watch it on CBC Gem.
I think so. I think streaming on CBC Gem, like on the app or on your computer. But for everybody else, you can watch it on Netflix and finally binge it and catch up. And
What have you been watching on Netflix right now? Very quickly.
okay, the most recent things I watched. Oh, what is that show? Okay, if I describe it to you, will you get it?
Maybe.
Okay. So this guy gets released from jail because this guy went to jail because like he was like in the army. This takes place. He's like British, and the camera footage like showed one thing, but then they proved in court that it was another, and then this murder happens, and then basically followed the show all through like CCTV. Oh my gosh, what is this called? I'm gonna look it up.
It's on Netflix?
It's on Netflix.
Safe?
No.
It's not safe, eh?
No, it's like captured.
Captive? No.
Hold on.
It's gonna
on Netflix. Can I see my recently watched? Is that a thing?
You should be able to.
Okay. Well, maybe it's on Prime. Okay. Well, there was that one. If I could remember the name of it, dear God. I recently have rewatched Chris D'Elia's stand-up special, Incorrigible, because it's like one of my all-time favorites. Whenever I need a giggle, I watch that, and I just watched his other 2 specials. They're all on Netflix. What else is really good? I know this sounds maybe silly, but there's this like big phenomenon on the internet around this series called Cheer, and it's about
Yep.
cheerleading. It's about.
Have you watched Ozark yet?
No, but my partner has, and he loves it, and he keeps trying to get me to like watch good content. Just know this about me: I get really scared and nervous and anxious. So if I watch a show that has that energy, I'll like spend the rest of the week like being really like paranoid.
I feel like you'd be. I feel like you'd be funny in like a horror movie though.
You know,
Like I feel like your character. Like can you imagine like a Chelsea in a horror movie?
I can, but also I think it would be honestly great for me to.
But the killer would show up to the camp. Like she would be loud and like they would stand a chance.
She'd be the first one dead. Chelsea would be the first one dead. But I think it would be good for me to like get over some of like my fear of when I watch stuff like that. Like I can't watch horror and I can't watch, too much thriller because it gets me. But maybe if I like did it and like understood how it works, maybe you take the fear out of it. Okay, I found it. It's on Prime and it's called The Capture.
It's good.
It's amazing. And the other one is Philip K. Dick's anthology of short stories turned into episodes, Electric Dreams, also on Prime.
Nice.
Sci-fi.
That's awesome.
Great fantasy sci-fi, yeah.
Well, Gabby, thank you so much for coming on Popternative.
Thank you, Peter, for chatting. So, you're gonna hit me up, and we'll have more like Arthur watch and
Arthur messages and chats all the time. Maybe we can go on Instagram Live and talk about Arthur.
We'll review our top 10 episodes.
I literally I could talk about that show. Imagine we just make a podcast like Arthur Chronicles.
yeah, the Arthur Chronicles. Yeah. Absolutely.
It's the best. DW is the most sassy, amazing, funniest person of all time.
I call my little sister DW all the time, and she hates it.
Do you remember the episode where they're like, it's raining outside and they're like drawing, and then like Arthur's like, DW's like, Arthur, what did you draw? He's like, a dog. And he's bored. And then he's like, DW, what did you draw? She's like, a stick. He's like, a stick? He's like, a stick from the park you promised to take me to today.
Oh my God. But like so many like just real moments between siblings and friends and dogs and oh my God.
So good. Well, thank you so much. Where can people follow you on social media to keep up to date with everything?
You can find me on Instagram. My handle is Gabby, GABI _tiny dancer. Gabby _tiny dancer. I'd love to, hear from more people. It's been really fun meeting people during the quarantine and just chatting on Insta.
Absolutely. Great. Well, first of all, congratulations on everything with Kim's Convenience, and I wish you all the best for future seasons. Got renewed for 2 more seasons, which is amazing. So we hope to see more Chelsea, which is awesome.
Fingers crossed. We'll see.
Absolutely. Well, this has been Popternative, youtube.com/Popternative. For previous episodes, be sure to watch Kim's Convenience, now streaming on Netflix and in Canada on CBC Gem. And until next time, this is Gabriella Sundar Singh and Petey Beats signing off.
Thank you for tuning in to Popternative. Make sure to check out our past episodes of Popternative on YouTube. Be sure to like Popternative on Facebook and follow us on Twitter.
This has been an Autograph Communications production.